At the very same time that this road was being built, 1853 to 1856, the Grand Trunk Railway was being built through the south end of Brighton Township. Now, this was a huge deal for the people in the community at the time. At the risk of just putting text out in front of you, again, from the Toby book, I can't resist these things. These are so topical in what we're talking about. This right here is a piece that was in the Brighton Ensign on July 31st, 1931. It was the words of E.C. Gillette talking about experiences of his uncle, Monroe Lawson. Now, this was one of the Lawsons from Lawson Settlement there south of Smithfield, east of Brighton. Of course, the railway went right through their farm. So, anyway, this is what he said. He watched the workmen surveying for the Grand Trunk Railway, and his brother Clinton helped clear the way for the roadbed. The land was purchased from the settlers and the timber given to them for clearing it. Contracts for the railway were let by sections, and local labor, assisted by a gang of Irish workmen, prepared the roadbed. Horse scrapers were used for all the grading, and parts of the line are ready for use in 1855. Mr. Lawson well remembers climbing to the roof to see the first train of gravel cars pass through the farm. The line had been completed to Kingston in 1853, and in October 1856, all was in readiness for the first through train from Toronto to Montreal. Local celebrations had been held from time to time as sections of the line were completed, but a crowd was assembled at every station on October 27, 1856, when the first train passed through. Probably no event in Canadian history had ever created the public enthusiasm as the completion of the Grand Trunk Railway. This was a huge deal for the people at the time. To say nothing of just the employment that it would mean. All those young men with shovels, the ones that weren't working on the road would be working with the railway, renting, leasing and renting horses and wagons and scrapers and all this kind of stuff. This would have been one of those trickle-down situations. There would have been a lot of business created during the years that this was being built. Of course, one of the obvious things that the railway did, it brought people to town. Here's a cute little thing that it says, again, in the Toby book. In September of 1900, we find this in the Brighton Ensign. James Nesbitt arrived at Brighton, a passenger on this Grand Trunk Railway train running from Montreal to Toronto on the 4th day of November, 1856. So probably the next train that went the other direction. And this would be the common thing. People coming from the old country through Montreal, stopping in Brighton and living here. This James Nesbitt's interesting because he is the father of James and Samuel Nesbitt, who are well-known businessmen for many years around Brighton. And we have a picture here of Sam Nesbitt from the Latimer photos, who's a well-known businessman in the area. So just an example of the value of the train in the community. Of course, the most important thing we have left from the era of the train is the Grand Trunk Railway Station. Here's a picture of it down there at Memory Junction. This building was built in 1857. It's the year after the rails came through. And I have to think that this building became like a community center, because as the train became more important in the lives of the people, you saw more and more people coming down here. They would be coming down here to pick up the mail, to deliver parcels, to let people off and to pick people up, and just to gab. You can imagine folks standing around here with our horses and wagons and just talking. Of course, the railway boom here, and it was in the 1910s, 20s, and at one point there were 3 railroads coming through here. Of course, passenger traffic tailed off in the 1960s as we got into the era of the car. 1996, the property was purchased by Ralph and Eugenia Bangay. They saved this property from demolition. This building, can you imagine this building being demolished? Anyway, now it's Memory Junction. It's a great tourist attraction. Lots of folks go there. It's lots of people walking around there looking at all the artifacts and the pictures and talking to the folks. Put it in context, there were 32 of these buildings built at the time. 9 of them remain today, and this is one of them. So any way you look at that, this is a very significant heritage site, and we're really lucky to still have it here. I love it because anytime I go by there or stop in, and certainly if you talk to Ralph or the folks there, to me, you can tell I love this period in history. It is really a direct physical connection to that period of history. If you need a physical connection, there it is. Anyway, so the railway station is really important to us, and it's from that immediate era. Now, anytime there's technology come in, especially transportation technology, some businesses that were based on the old technology are going to go by the board and are going to suffer. People are going to lose their jobs. Businesses are going to go under, whatever. Here's an example, again, from the Toby book, a very cute piece. It's about William Weller. Now, William Weller was well known in Coburg. He ran stagecoach lines there for decades. I'm just going to read this. This is cute. You get the idea. The coming of the railway meant the end of William Weller's stage line. At a dinner in celebration of the Coburg and Peterborough Railway, he said, "I know why you have called upon me for a speech. It is to hurt my feelings. For you know I get my living running stages, and you are taking the bit out of my mouth the same as you are taking it out of my horse's mouth. You are comparing in your minds the present times with the past, when you had to carry a rail instead of riding one in order to keep my coaches out of the mud. But after all, I rejoice to see all things panning out and conditions becoming weller." Sorry, corny, but you can tell Mr. Weller had a good sense of humor. And he was a good sport about this. But it's an example of, yeah, you saw lots of changes going on. Businesses that have been in place for years and people that had jobs had to change. The railway definitely did that a lot. Now, I'm not much for poetry, and certainly not in the context of a history presentation. But again, the Toby book has this piece in it, and I just couldn't resist this. I think you'll agree. It is said that this was sung to a popular tune at the time. Now, I'm not going to sing it, but I will recite it, and you can follow along. It's called "The Railroad is Coming." The railroad is coming, yo-ho, yo-ho, steam whistles blowing, yo-ho, yo-ho. From Belleville we'll go to Peterborough in 2 or 3 hours or so. The railroad is coming, yo-ho, yo-ho, by George, I'm not funning. Oh no, from Ontario to the woods of Simcoe, without changing horses we'll go. We don't care how the winds may blow. It may rain, drizzle, hail, or may snow. We'll get up the steam and start off with a scream. We'll frighten old Nick down below. At Belleville, we'll have a depot, that will make our town quickly grow. It will be a pity if it won't be a city, and that we all very well know. Now's your time, farmer, to sow. To reap, dig potatoes, and mow. You'll get money, you know, for all you grow, and cash to your pockets will flow. I can find no more words with oh. I'm forced to pull up and cry, whoa. So God bless our queen, for no better has been to keep loyal hearts in glow. You see what I mean? Gems like this I find in the Toby book. But the topic is interesting. I mean, it tells you some of the things that people were thinking about this. They knew the railroad was going to help them a lot. They knew that they could get places a lot quicker. They wouldn't have to wait for somebody to change the horses. The weather, they could keep out of the weather a bit. And the farmers were going to make more money. What could be better? So anyways, a very, very positive attitude at the time about the railroad coming.